Well, it's day 29 of the GSW countdown to the start of the regular season. I'm Tim Roy, and today we're talking guards, and who better to analyze guards than our own Jim Barnett. And Jim, I think the Warriors have one of their deeper guard lines in recent history.
They're not only deep, but they're experienced, and they can all shoot the ball extremely well. It's a great thing to start with players who can take the ball, put it in their hands, and put it in the basket for you.
It all starts with Steph Curry, though. Steph now, of course, the starting point guard, and that right ankle, which gave him so much trouble last year. You've had an opportunity to talk to Steph a couple of times here early in camp. How's he feeling, and how's the ankle?
Well, he's feeling good, and the ankle is 100%, but they are also being a little more circumspect with his training camp duties. And so he's practicing maybe 75% of the time, but when he's practicing, it is 100%.
Well, we caught up with Steph Curry and head coach Mark Jackson after practice on day one of training camp, and they talked about Steph Curry and how they're managing his progress.
And I would say he did more than half the practice. He's a guy that is important for us to realize. It doesn't matter today. He's taking care of his body. He's in great shape. It's important to make sure he doesn't do anything today that we got to pay for as a team tomorrow. And that being said, he's a guy that even today when I said that's it, he looks at me and says that's it. Like, I thought I was back home with my kids.
I'm sure he had a plan that he was going to stick to of what I could do, what I couldn't do, as well as Jared and Draymond. So just you got to stick to it and be patient.
Did you try to put up a fight?
It's too early to do that. I think I threw my mouthpiece and that was about it.
As I mentioned to him today in an interview earlier on, even if you weren't injured and you laid out that long and you come back to try to play, your timing is off. Mentally, you just have to get acclimated to the game again. So they're bringing him along that way, and I think that's wise.
He's got career averages of 17 points, 5.8 assists, also 4 rebounds. If you look at his first 2 years in the league, he played 80 in 74 games. So if the ankle is repaired and he's healthy there, he should be fine.
Oh, I have no question he's going to be fine. I think it was just an aberration last year of all the things that occurred, and he never got completely healthy, and so it was always vulnerable to get turned again, that ankle was.
What do you think the impact will be that Steph is now in his first camp without having Monta Ellis around, and now it's kind of his, the keys are in his hand?
Well, General Manager Bob Myers and Mark Jackson said this is your team. Much like Don Nelson gave him the reins second half of his rookie season and said, this is the guy that is going to lead us, and he can accept that responsibility. I think he's good. He's got to be more of a vocal leader. He's talked about that. But for Steph Curry to get the ball in his hands most of the time now, it's not going to be in Monte's hands. So he's got to be the distributor. He's got to be a decision maker, and he has to make that judgment when to pass, when to shoot, and what person to get it to and feed the hot hand.
And the hot hand might be the guy playing alongside him, Klay Thompson. Last 29 games last year, he averaged 18 points. He finished first with rookies at 41% from the three-point line, first with rookies in 111 three-pointers made. And it just seems that stretch has given him some real confidence that he belongs in this league.
There's no question about that, Tim. Ever since the trade with Monta Ellis, they brought him along slowly earlier in the year. In fact, he was a little frustrated not getting playing time. You could just see that last year. So they brought him along slowly and didn't throw him into the fire. He got short minutes, and he wanted more minutes. Well, he finally got more minutes, and he's not shy about shooting the basketball.
Yeah.
He can really light it up, and he has such a quick release, and I love the way he moves without the basketball. And then he had a stretch there the last 6 games in April, late in the season, where he averaged 24 points a game. So I think that's given him the confidence now that he can not only understand that he can be a contributor and a player in this league, but he has a great chance to be an impact player, someone who rises above and perhaps a future all-star. You're talking about him, 87% from the free throw line. Curry's a 90% shooter, and they've got to make, both of them have to make more of a concerted effort to get to the line this year. I looked at the Warriors last year. They shot something like 1,235 free throws attempted. Their opponents, 1,725. That's 500 more free throws. That's about 40% more. Now, they've gone big this year. You've got Bogut in there. That's going to take a lot of pressure off them. But the guards have to do their job also, not just, your strength is your weakness. Right. Since they're both great pure shooters, there's a tendency, hey, I can get this shot anytime I want. I'm going to take it. But you've got to drive the ball to the rim and get yourself to the free throw line. All the complete players in the game in the NBA do that. They get to the line. And that's where one of the other guys that they acquired, Jarrett Jack, is going to come in, because he can get to the line. If you look at his stats per minute played, shoots many more free throws than any of the Warrior guards.
And he shoots it very well at 87%. Yeah. And, of course, with Klay and Steph, if they get to the line a few times every night, then they're going to become more efficient scorers. They're going to add 4 or 5 points to their averages per game. But they're also getting the help that Jarrett Jack will provide. And this guy is tough. If you look at his first 6 years in the league, 79 games or more every year. He's got size. He can handle the ball. He can play 1 or 2. I'm just so excited to have him coming off the bench for Golden State.
He's very versatile, and perhaps the most versatile of all the players, because he can play both ends of the floor. And that's what he is going to provide for them this year, is that little toughness. And he's very vocal about things out there. And again, like you said, he can shoot free throws very, very well throughout his career. Remember that triple-double he put on the Warriors last year? Yeah. He's durable, he's tough, he's not afraid to mix it up. He can play both positions. He can play the point guard, but he can play a shooting guard. And he's not near the shooter, although his percentage is well over 45%, but he's not near the pure shooter that Steph Curry and Klay Thompson are. But he's certainly adequate, and he knows how to hold a team together. And he with that experience, 7 years behind him, he doesn't get rattled. Nothing bothers him out there. He's not afraid to compete. He likes to compete.
And, of course, that with Jack on the floor, then you could run Steph as an off guard if you want it for a few possessions. You could run Klay Thompson out there with Jarrett Jack. You could even run all 3 of those guys out there.
If they wanted to go small,
right.
That's a nice little lineup, because Klay Thompson's a legitimate 6'7". He's told me he's improved on his defense, gotten stronger, so he could play that small forward spot. We'll talk about small forwards later on, because that's going to be an interesting topic as well. But, finally, when you talk about the rotation, and a guy that played a lot last year, Charles Jenkins, and you can't forget about him, because he just knows how to play.
28 starts, averaged 8 points, 5 assists. He shot 47% from the field, 87% from the free throw line. Another guy that can shoot free throws, and he's just tough. He knows how to get into traffic and make something happen.
He plays bigger than his size. He's bulky, but he can also go to the basket and finish. Remember that big game? I believe he had 30 up in Portland. He got to the rim all the time. He knows how to finish against bigger players. And the nice thing I like about Charles Jenkins is he plays a conservative game, but he was willing to take a chance, but he doesn't take too much of a risk. He had a 3-to-1 assist to turnover ratio last year. That led all rookies. And the games that he started, he averaged over 6 assists a game. So he's able to make plays. He's a good, consistent outside shooter. Doesn't try to do too much. He plays within himself. That's what I like about Charles. So he doesn't hurt you. You can put him in there, and you don't have to worry about him. He's not going to hurt you. He's not going to do a dumb thing, throw the ball away, take a big risk like that. He just knows how to play the game, and he plays under control. And the way things formed out last year because of Curry's injury, he got to get a lot of experience, and that's going to help him now in his second year.
And one thing that Jenkins and Jack both add coming off the bench that the Warriors had last year with their bench group is that they're both tough.
Oh, yeah.
They're tough guys.
No, they're tough. I think the equation, how it's going to mix this year is you've got some bigs inside. You've got David Lee, who had a heck of a year last year, and you've got Bogut as a center, and you want to keep shooters happy, and you've got Brandon Rush, who came off the bench last year. They've got to learn how the guards have to dictate that. They have to learn how to share the basketball equitably for everyone concerned. Now, the big thing in that, if they can get off to a good start, because winning cures all of that. Nobody's jealous if you're winning basketball games and someone's getting the majority of the shots, but it's a nice surplus to have, the number of shooters that they have on this team. and it starts with the backcourt and the 4 guys that we just talked about.
Of course, tomorrow we'll come back here on Warriors TV and Warriors.com on day 28 of our countdown of the start of the season and talk about the bigs. And then on the following day, on day 27, we'll look at the wings. All this coverage as the Warriors continue to get ready for the start of the NBA season. Right here on Warriors TV, I'm Tim Roy for Jim Barnett. Thanks for watching.